ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying tuned. What you are witnessing and feasting your eyes on is the Augusta University Jaguars baseball team senior day festivities. And we will start this off by the first senior we will induct into the senior day festivities is senior Jim Wagner. He has come to us from Stone Mountain, Georgia. He has been involved in all 4 of his years of college collegiate baseball here with the Jaguars. He has led the Augusta offense as a sophomore and as a junior. This year, in 43 games, he has occupied the infield and the outfield, left field, center field, third base, and shortstop for the Jags this particular season. And he's accumulated the 3rd most RBIs on the team. And he's also surged up the leaderboard in the Jags leadership for the 4th most hits on the Jaguar squad. Now, following Jim Wagner is the hurler and arm that you saw yesterday, Matthew Meeks. He shot over to Augusta University as a senior transfer from Armstrong State University. And he earned the Friday night starting pitching job, which is virtually the ace of the pitching squad for Collegiate 2 here in the Peach Belt Conference. They usually save their ace, second, and third starter for their weekend bouts going toe-to-toe with the Peach Belt Conference. He also has finished with not the 3rd lowest ERA, but the 2nd lowest ERA on the team. And also an accolade to his credit, and to not sell him short at all. He was the Peach Belt Pitcher of the Week on February 27th. He has been a lights-out ace for the Jaguars. What a phenomenal year for Matthew Meeks. It's come winding down with his final start last night. What a heck of a year for Matthew Meeks, and a good way to close it out last night on the win. On deck is Casey Leenock. Leenock, as a reliever on the mound for the Jags, he has captured the top slot in team ERA for the first 2 seasons he was with the Jags, and has picked up preseason all-conference honors. Casey has also accumulated the most wins as a junior in the 2017 season. And not only that, but 12 appearances to boot this season out of the bullpen has served him really well as a unique shutdown arm for the Jags. Thank you so much, Casey Leenock, for your time as a Jag. Then you have the first part of the battery with Matt Meeks and then Casey Leenock. Let's venture into the second part of the battery, and catcher Brent Alford winds his collegiate career down here at Augusta University. And he came in red hot as a freshman in 2015. Back-to-back Peach Belt Conference all academic winner. Alford has accumulated a .273 batting average this season, and also has ventured out and scorched the 2nd most doubles on the team in the batter's box. Now, as a catcher for the Jags, he ranks in the number 2 slot in the conference for runners caught stealing. That shows you how much of a rifle he has behind the plate, and is exhibited that extremely well this season. So thank you so much, Brent Alford, for all you've done for this university and will continue to do on in your career if you choose to pursue the major leagues. And also, following up Brent Alford is the starter you just saw in game number 1, Cody Pugh. He came to Augusta as a junior in 2017, where he tied for the most wins on the mound. In 18 games played this season, he has made 3 starts on the year and came in 15 relief appearances, while all the while hunkering down to record not the 5th slot, but the 4th most strikeouts on the squad. An exquisite senior performance by Cody Pugh wraps up in a 2-game doubleheader versus Lynn. Thank you so much. Then, the reliever that we just saw coming in for Cody Pugh, Sam Goerdon. He also shot into Augusta University from the program at Armstrong that went under a couple of seasons ago. He started 10 games on the mound and 2 relief appearances, and that was his 3rd one right there. Not too bad of a relief pitcher either, but his 39 strikeouts are 2nd most on Augusta for this year. And the majority of their strikeouts has come via his 10 starts. And that also is neck and neck with the 1st place on the squad. He is tied in that department. Thank you so much, Sam Goerdon. Then, David Hagelston. He's a 4-year veteran right here in Augusta, Georgia. He made 12 or more appearances on the mound for 4 years straight. Talk about durability. He is one of the most durable pitchers the Jags have had this year. This season, he anchors in not only in the bullpen, but he's also had the opportunity to battle on the mound as a starter 3 times this year. Hagelston, you want to talk about lights out as a pitcher. He's in his relief appearances and starter as well. 18 of the batters he's faced this year in 25 innings has gone down on strikes. Talk about extinguishing the flames of an offense. Thank you so much, David Hagelston. And then a touching ceremony as Ty Hobbs is the next man up. And he transferred to Augusta in 2017 as a junior and appeared in 34 games. This season, he has played in 36 games. Not only that, but get this, we talk about Goebel all the time as a big bat. Hobbs has a powerful bat as well, anchoring the team in the top slot in the home run department. And not only in the top slot in the home run department, but usually that goes hand in hand with your slugging percentage. He walks into the 2nd slot in slugging percentage, and we talk about the discipline all the time. Walks as well. That is a absolute pristine day at the plate and a season all the way around for Ty Hobbs. Thank you so much, sir. On March 17th, Hobbs cranked out 3 homers at Flagler to solidify a tie in a single game Peach Belt Conference record. And what makes this even more emotional for everybody here on the diamond is the fact that his mother is here to see the game as well. Now, she has been bedridden his whole entire life. So to have her here in today's ball game is extremely emotional and absolutely phenomenal way to go out to have the mother that that's taken care of you and you've taken care of and brought back the respect back to make an appearance to watch you play in your final day as a collegiate Jaguar. Absolutely emotional and a phenomenal performance here today as well. We've only played one game. We still have a second game underway as well. So an absolutely emotionally lit day for Ty Hobbs, and he is definitely going to be missed on the Jags. And the bullpen arm, the last bullpen arm that you just saw, Jordan Kelly, is next. He has once again not chosen any other college over Augusta, as he has been slotted here in Augusta all 4 years. And how about this debut as well? Winning 2 state championships in high school. The left-handed hurler saw action as a starter out of the bullpen during his time in Augusta. 9 games out of the bullpen for Jordan Kelly in his final season for the Jags. And get this, out of those 9 games out of the bullpen, he struck out 8 to compile a win-loss record of 1-1. Absolutely brilliant bullpen arm for the Jags. Unfortunately, says adios after the second game later on today, but thank you so much, Jordan Kelly, for the contributions to this Jaguar program. And then you want to talk about having Division I experience. We talked about that a little bit with some of the Fighting Knights players. Augusta has a Division I transferee of their own in the name of Ben Parr. He joined the Jags as a senior, and his Yellow Jacket record, 18 wins and 9 losses in 3 seasons, and that is Division I play. We're in Division II. In Division I, a 371 accumulation ERA. To boot with that 371, he smacked down 133 strikeouts. He's made 16 appearances on the mound this season, and this year alone has sent 16 batters packing to the dugouts, all the while accumulating 2 saves. Absolutely phenomenal season all the way around for Ben Parr, and as a Division I player as well, rounded out an exquisite 4-year collegiate baseball career for Ben Parr. Thank you so much, Mr. Ben Parr. Not only that, but to all the parents and the friends and the seniors and to all of the fans here at Jaguar Stadium, thank you so much for everything that you have done for this program. Thank you to the parents, the friends, the family, for allowing the seniors to play here at Augusta University, and thank you so much for supporting the Jaguar program. Now, we'll run down the list one more time before we venture into game number 2, which should kick off in about 20 minutes or so. To kick things off in the Senior Celebration Day, Jim Wagner, followed by Matt Meeks, Casey Leenock, Brent Alford, Cody Pugh, Sam Gowardon, David Hagelston, Ty Hobbs, Jordan Kelly, and to wrap things up, with the seniors, Ben Parr, cannot tell you and extend enough of a thank you to all of these players for everything they have done for this university and everything that they will continue to do throughout, whether they choose to go venture into the professional ranks or whether they choose another pathway. Thank you so much. You have been a blessing to the university. Thank you. Have one more great day or great game on the mound. And let's put it this way, you guys will be missed. Thank you so much. And that'll about wrap up the Senior Day celebration. We will have Game 2 right around the bend very shortly.
Close to 200 years ago, our foundation was laid in what at the time was a small, sleepy town. What began as a class of 7 students with a singular focus has grown into a body of thousands, pursuing excellence in health sciences, cyber, business, and the humanities. And now, we step into the future as a powerful, unified university with a singular symbol to represent us all. We are Augusta University. We are a family of colleges and institutions and a cutting-edge health system. And we are the heart of our college town. In the community, on the field, the court, and the course, we are the Jaguar Nation, bound by a new tradition and dedicated to making an impact around the world for the next 200 years. This is your university. This is our university. This is Augusta University. Close to 200 years ago, our foundation was laid in what at the time was a small, sleepy town. What began as a class of 7 students with a singular focus has grown into a body of thousands, pursuing excellence in health sciences, cyber, business, and the humanities. And now, we step into the future as a powerful, unified university with a singular symbol to represent us all. We are Augusta University. We are a family of colleges and institutions and a cutting-edge health system. And we are the heart of our college town. In the community, on the field, the court, and the course, we are the Jaguar Nation, bound by a new tradition and dedicated to making an impact around the world for the next 200 years. This is your university. This is our university. This is Augusta University. Close to 200 years ago, our foundation was laid in what at the time was a small, sleepy town. What began as a class of 7 students with a singular focus has grown into a body of thousands, pursuing excellence in health sciences, cyber, business, and the humanities. And now, we step into the future as a powerful, unified university with a singular symbol to represent us all. We are Augusta University. We are a family of colleges and institutions and a cutting-edge health system. And we are the heart of our college town. In the community, on the field, the court, and the course, we are the Jaguar Nation, bound by a new tradition and dedicated to making an impact around the world for the next 200 years. This is your university. This is our university. This is Augusta University. Close to 200 years ago, our foundation was laid in what at the time was a small, sleepy town. What began as a class of 7 students with a singular focus has grown into a body of thousands, pursuing excellence in health sciences, cyber, business, and the humanities. And now, we step into the future as a powerful, unified university with a singular symbol to represent us all. We are Augusta University. We are a family of colleges and institutions and a cutting-edge health system. And we are the heart of our college town. In the community, on the field, the court, and the course, we are the Jaguar Nation, bound by a new tradition and dedicated to making an impact around the world for the next 200 years. This is your university. This is our university. This is Augusta University. Close to 200 years ago, our foundation was laid in what at the time was a small, sleepy town. What began as a class of 7 students with a singular focus has grown into a body of thousands, pursuing excellence in health sciences, cyber, business, and the humanities. And now, we step into the future as a powerful, unified university with a singular symbol to represent us all. We are Augusta University. We are a family of colleges and institutions and a cutting-edge health system. And we are the heart of our college town. In the community, on the field, the court, and the course, we are the Jaguar Nation, bound by a new tradition and dedicated to making an impact around the world for the next 200 years. This is your university. This is our university. This is Augusta University. Close to 200 years ago, our foundation was laid in what at the time was a small, sleepy town. What began as a class of 7 students with a singular focus has grown into a body of thousands, pursuing excellence in health sciences, cyber, business, and the humanities. And now, we step into the future as a powerful, unified university with a singular symbol to represent us all. We are Augusta University. We are a family of colleges and institutions and a cutting-edge health system. And we are the heart of our college town. In the community, on the field, the court, and the course, we are the Jaguar Nation, bound by a new tradition and dedicated to making an impact around the world for the next 200 years. This is your university. This is our university. This is Augusta University. Close to 200 years ago, our foundation was laid in what at the time was a small, sleepy town. What began as a class of 7 students with a singular focus has grown into a body of thousands, pursuing excellence in health sciences, cyber, business, and the humanities. And now, we step into the future as a powerful, unified university with a singular symbol to represent us all. We are Augusta University. We are a family of colleges and institutions and a cutting-edge health system. And we are the heart of our college town. In the community, on the field, the court, and the course, we are the Jaguar Nation, bound by a new tradition and dedicated to making an impact around the world for the next 200 years. This is your university. This is our...
No
So an emotional day for the Jaguars on the field, and even more so for Ty Hobbs, whose mother is in attendance, and she rarely has a chance to come to some of the games. So it's the best senior day present that he could have asked for. And in this second game here, the Jags will hand the ball off to senior David Hagelston, ushering in the start, and he issues a strike barreling right into the inside corner. Blake Collins and Robert Ambrose here with you to take you the rest of the way home. This is the final game of the Jaguars season at Bay, and Hagelston starts the game off right with 2 strikes. And Hagelston is going toe-to-toe with Tom Archer.
The pitching for the Jaguars this series has been outstanding. In each game, they've just had basically 1 inning per game where they've ran into trouble. Last game, it was the difference in game 1. And it didn't matter in yesterday's game, but overall, a very good performance this weekend by the Jaguars pitching.
And Ty Hobbs ropes in a line drive, a diving stab at first base for the first out. What a way to cap off the last game of the regular season and last game as a Jaguar, then to dive to corral the first out for Ty Hobbs. Pitch strike barely on the inside corner. And that ball's lifted into left field, barely beyond the reach in foul territory there for Bakari Gale. After a loud strike, Hagelston comes back with a strike on the outside corner. That's batted into the ground at second, and the second out is obtained from the arm of Mason Robertson at second.
That's a sinker ball by Hagelston that gets the opposing hitters to beat the ball into the ground, thinking they have a good square on the ball, and then the ball sinks down and they hit on the top of the ball, which causes it to beat down for a ground out like that.
And this second game is a little bit of a variation between the first game and the second game of the doubleheader. With this being a non-conference doubleheader, the second affair will only submit in 7 innings in this ball game. And that ball gets by Hobbs at first base. Robertson with not a very good throw right there. And the bright side for the Jags is they have hunkered down and been able to obtain 2 outs. The bad side is that the Fighting Knights have a runner in scoring position here in the top half of the first. Ball breaches inside of the inside corner. And that ball is laced into right field That run from second may come across. Hobbs, the cutoff man, throws home. The throw is late, and the ball scoots by. Offered the catcher, and the Fighting Knights, 2 back-to-back doubles here. Excuse me, a single, then the error. Shot over. Believe that was Rouse. As that ball sprays across the outside corner. It's Rouse at the plate, so that would mean that Fontana is the man at second. Stretches a strike there. And that ball is punched into the ground at second. Robertson with a second chance. This time fires a strike to Hobbs. And the inning is retired, but the first run comes across for Lynn, and the Jags have some catching up to do. Remember, it is a limited ball game in the second game of this doubleheader. We're only playing 7. The Jags have some catching up to do. We'll see it for the bottom half on the flip side. Devin Billardella walks up to the plate to tackle his first plate appearance against starting hurler for the Fighting Knights, Enrique Perez. And that ball is blasted into right center field. And that out is recorded by way of Gabe Martinez. The right fielder shoots over. for the out, and first pitch, one down, and Wagner walks up to the dish. Strike right there. And that ball with the opposite field approach is solidified into left center. Jim Wagner, with that discipline, waits a little bit, let the ball travel into the zone, and then laces one into left center field for the first single of the game for the Jags. And now, the designated hitter amps up his first plate appearance in Zach Goebel as he ganders at a first pitch fastball, pegs the outside corner. Perez looks in at the sign. Fire over to first base, and Wagner slides back in. Ball delivered by Perez. 1 ball and 1 strike. And that pitch was thrown to the lower part of the strike zone, but undercuts the strike zone. So it is 2 balls and 1 strike. And Wagner implements his speed, and speed always kills the defense right there. Wagner with the taking the action into his own hand, swipes second base, and now the Jags, can they turn around and give the Fighting Knights a dose of their own medicine and try to get the man in from second? As now it's 3 balls and 1 strike on the board. A prime hitter's count here if you are Zach Goebel.
Goebel this season, he's been a player of the week in the conference and in the region. And this is his first at bat of the series. He sat out the first 2 games. The Jaguars in each of the first 2 games, Blake, they kept the exact same starting lineup 1 through 9. And a bunch of adjustments here for this 7-inning game 2 of the doubleheader.
I wanna get as many seniors in here as possible this final game. It's gonna be tough, but with Goebel in at the dish right now, his objective is to not try to kill the ball into Launchpad City. To try to find a gap, get a base hit, and usher in Wagner from second. That ball is scorched. Deep. Warning track power. Goebel sends it on a ride, and Wagner had to wait to see if the ball was going to be caught to tag up to go. That is why he did not venture around third into home plate. Instead, he winds up 90 feet away from home plate. Phenomenal piece of hitting by Zach Goebel. Just undercut it just a tad. And didn't get as much aluminum as he would like to on that pitch, but still tremendous power through the body of Zach Goebel, and he stands at second base with Jim Wagner, the speedster, at third. Strike pelting inside and finding the corner. Hobbs goes fishing. Perez wheels and deals another splitter, and Hobbs could not find the timing on that swing. Pulled the trigger a little bit too soon as the Jags are down to their last out to try to inflict damage here on Perez in the first inning. And that ball is tapped to shortstop. And the inning comes to a close off of the arm of Porin at short. And the Jags have a major threat but cannot induce any runs. And so we mosey on to the top half of the second inning. Jags trail by 1. As that ball's bounced into the ground at short, Maddox fires a bullet to Hobbs. 1 pitch, 1 out. The catcher, Alejandro Martinez, the second part of the battery with Enrique Perez, the pitcher. Catcher Martinez stands in. Hagelston dials up a strike, pinching the outside corner. And that ball's roped over to second. Robertson gets behind it, fields it cleanly, and the second out is recorded. And Gomez is the hitter up at the dish for the Fighting Knights.
Gomez has not played in this series up until this point. This is first at bat.
And he's in a hole. 0 balls and 2 strikes. He's trying to battle back with protection mode activated. That change-up settles outside of the inside corner. Good waste pitch to possibly set up the outside. And that ball squirted over to Robertson, who tries to backhand it and could not firmly grasp it in the glove. And Gomez, with the hasty running ability of Gomez, ushers in a single.
And if that's an error, that's the second error in as many innings this game for Robertson. And they were both with 2 outs last time. The runner that got on as a result of the error came in to score an unearned run.
Robertson is usually a clutch second baseman defensively, but
struggling in this one.
You'll have innings and you'll have days like this, to where the best thing you can do is field it cleanly from here on out and battle back on offense. As Hagelston tries to dial up a strike, but to no avail. Hagelston wheels and deals. That ball is conked into right field. Opposite field approach is utilized, and the Fighting Knights have a fighting chance here with runners on second and first. They're already up by 1, but they definitely have a good chance here with a contact-heavy hitter up at the dish to stretch across some insurance runs.
Looking to add more unearned runs as well.
That's one of those pitches that could have gone either way. It doesn't squeeze inside the strike zone for the benefit of Hagelston. It benefits Archer. Which, by the way, that series on FXX is a very good animated series. As Hagelston offers up another strike. And so it's 0 balls and 2 strikes. Freeze frame, pinpoint accuracy. Sit back down, go to the dugout, and close out the inning. David Hagelston, after allowing a run in the first, shuts the door on the Fighting Knight offense in the second. So we migrate to the bottom half of inning number 2. Jags trying to come back. pit stop just before the bottom half of the second inning gets underway. Here to take you from this pit stop in the bottom half of the second to inning number 5. Take it away, Robert.
Thank you, Blake. So it will be Brent Alford leading things off for the Jaguars, followed by Patrick Watson and Mason Robertson third this inning. One hopper right back to the pitcher. Underhand toss to first is in time. That's out number 1. And that's going to bring up Patrick Watson. As I was saying, the Jaguars moved Mason Robertson from the normal 2 spot in the lineup all the way down to 8th for this game 2, and Wagner from 3rd to 2nd. It's part of the lineup adjustments for the 7-inning season finale. And the pitch to Watson, that misses for a ball 1-0.
Displaying a keen eye right there, not offering it a pitch that had a little bit of late movement to it. Ventured outside more than Perez wanted to.
And now the pitch misses inside again. 2-0.
It's a great pitching strategy to execute outside and inside, but when you don't have the command that you're used to having with your pitches, it can be a long, drawn-out day. And with this at bat, with Patrick Watson up, he's already down 2 balls.
And the 2-0 pitch grounded to second. Throw to first. In time. That's out number 2. And here's Mason Robertson for a chance to redeem himself at the plate after his pair of errors in the first 2 innings defensively. One of them led to an unearned run. That's the difference so far in this game.
So he comes back and he has Watson out on the balls of his feet, swinging over the top. Slow developing play, but good recuperation speed right there by Archer to get Watson at first.
Called strike on Robertson, 0-1. He's trying to extend this inning for his middle infield battery mate, the shortstop Trent Maddox, who waits on deck. Both of these guys, freshmen with a lot of promise. And now the 0-1 misses a ball and a strike. Count even with 2 outs and nobody on here this inning. A pair of groundouts already to start the inning. Here's the 1-1. Lined up the middle, and that's a base hit for Mason Robertson. A big 2-out base hit. It is indeed, as that brings up Trent Maddox.
That's a mark of a good offensive strategic hitter at the plate. Locking his eyes in on the pitcher, kind of knowing what pitch is coming his way, and then not doing anything except serve it back up the pipe where it came from. A phenomenal piece of hitting there by Robertson to get the Jags started here with, I believe, 2 outs with a run on first base.
Maddox swings at the first pitch he sees, grounds one to second, throw to first in time. That ends the inning. Jaguars still trail at 1-0 as we go to the third here at the lake. You're watching and listening to the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back. welcome you back here to the lake. It'll be Gabe Martinez leading off the inning for the Fighting Knights. They lead at 1-0. As I mentioned earlier, the Jaguars in games 1 and 2 of this series did not change their lineup at all. And for the most part, the Fighting Knights kept their lineup the same in games 1 and 2. They did make some changes in the bottom third of their lineup, however. And Martinez lines one foul. But there's definitely been a lot more shuffling for this game than in the other games.
And right now, after he punches one foul off to the right, he's in a tremendous 0-ball and 2-strike pull in favor of David Hagelston on the mound for the Jags.
The 0-2 misses upstairs for a ball 1-2 on Robertson. He's followed by Patrick Dorian and Shane Fontana, both homered back-to-back in the third inning of Game 1 of this doubleheader earlier today. Hard hit ground ball to second. Robertson backhands, and what a throw by Mason Robertson, right on the money. After struggling earlier in this game defensively, makes that one look easy.
A great way to atone. Kept his center of balance straight and even through his body, and then on the torque throw from second, launched a strike to Ty Hobbs. What a play, what a throw, and what an all-around great second baseman the Jags have in store for the next 4 years in Mason Robertson.
And Trent Maddox at shortstop, let's not forget that.
Absolutely.
It won't be easy to replace Jim Wagner, however. Ball, no strikes on Dorian. And he pops that one up. Left field line. Gale goes over, and Bakari Gale, unable to make the catch. It falls in front of him for a bloop base hit, and Dorian is at first.
That one off the bat, we thought that it had a little more hang time than what it did. Gale was charging at it with 1,200% speed behind him, just unable to get to where the glove would meet the ball. And that's a huge possible run over there at first base for the Fighting Knights. Jags are trying to salvage and take 2 out of 3 from the Fighting Knights. They're trying to salvage this game out of the doubleheader where they unfortunately lost Game 2 earlier today.
This being the rubber match. No balls and 2 strikes on Fontana, runner on first and 1 out. Jaguars played a rubber match against Georgia College on Sunday after splitting the first 2 games with them here at the lake last weekend and fell 9-5. They then went on to Claflin and won that game on Wednesday 14-4 in Orangeburg, South Carolina, completing a 2-game season series sweep over Claflin. Snap throw to first. Back in time, Dorian. Count as a ball and 2 strikes on Fontana.
The throw was a little bit late, and if Ty would have been able to tag him just a little bit higher there, the Jags might have had the second out in their grasp. But good overall fundamental play by the Jags to even think about throwing over to first base behind the runner to see if they can steal an out.
Swing and a miss. Fontana down on strikes. Chased a ball that was well out of the strike zone. That's out number 2. Here's Jake Rouse. Oh for 1 in this game. He grounded out to end the first. Bats now with 2 outs in the third.
Again, they're trying to pick off the runner at first with 2 outs here. It matters a little bit, but you also want to concentrate more on the batter here because you want to get the 1 out. And if you concentrate too much on the runner and forget about the batter in Roush at the plate, then you might run yourself into more trouble because you don't want to lay a pitch in where he can attack and obliterate the baseball. So you want to try to keep your concentration more on Rouse at the plate than on the runner at first base.
With 2 outs, you're absolutely right. No balls and a strike. Here's the pitch. Swung on, high fly ball, center field going way back. Villardello still back, and that's going to be off the wall. They're going to wave Dorian home, and he's going to score from first on an RBI double by Rouse, and it's 2-0 Lynn.
You can throw an assist on that play to the Wind. The Wind got a hold of that and kept boosting it deeper and deeper and deeper. And Villardello did all he could. He just ran out of real estate to try to catch that baseball. That went from about 380 all the way with the Wind helping it to about 399.
The Wind blowing straight out to center field. And that was hit about the same spot as the ball that was hit by Bakari Gale to end game 1 of this doubleheader when Gale was thrown out trying to stretch a long single into a double. And he may have been tagged out after oversliding second base to end the game. That's the deepest part of the park. It's as hard as you can hit the ball without it being a home run to straightaway center field, the 400-foot sign. That's in the air too deep. Left field. Gale goes back to the wall. It's gone. And Willie Say has a 2-run home run. It's 4-0 in favor of Lynn, as the Wind is really carrying this one out.
You want to try to spoil a pitcher's pitch. That was down and in. Say had to be looking dead red down and in on a changeup nonetheless. And when he saw it, he just attacked it, brought his bat quickly through the zone, brought power to it, and as you hinted at, the Wind helped it sail out of here. But a very good attack point by Say, the DH, to extend this lead even further for the Fighting Knights.
And that is ripped. And back-to-back home runs as Martinez homers down the right field line. The second time today in which Lynn hits back-to-back home runs, and it's 5-0.
That's twice now that the Jags have lived on the inside corner. They're scouting the ball very well on the inside part of the plate, and this inning they're feasting on Hagelston living on the inside part of the plate.
You see several Jaguars leaving the dugout, going out to the streets to try and find those home run balls. They want to preserve as many of them as possible. And a called strike on Gomez. And the good news with the Wind blowing out the way it is, this might help the Jaguars when they're at bat as well.
You can make consistent contact and elevate the baseball into the air at about 2/3 of the way at home run distance. You'll be in good shape, because with the Wind as powerful as it is right now, it's definitely going to travel.
Grounded, diving at third, Wagner, and he drops it. And safe at first is Gomez. That should be ruled an infield single, as Wagner had to dive for it.
Gomez with the quick feet. It would have taken a cannon like Wagner has to beat him at first, but even if he didn't have to dive, it would have had to have been a tremendously accurate throw from Wagner to beat the speedy Gomez at first base, trying to steal a base hit.
As all the runs have been scored with 2 outs this inning. All 4 runs in which the Fighting Knights have scored in the top of the third. A called strike on Ojeda, the number 9 hitter, already batting for the second time in this game. Just the third inning. After this, Lynn will have completed a full 2 trips through their lineup. The Jaguars have completed 1 trip have yet to start their second trip.
We've seen a number of pitches and a number of at-bats in these final two games that have started out the at-bats with off-speed pitches and has been executed very well and has been very effective. Hagelston just does that on that last pitch.
Through to hole on the right side to right field, a base hit, and Gomez advances to second. Another base hit. Since there were 2 outs this inning, 5 straight base hits for the Fighting Knights, and that's going to bring Chris Howell from the dugout, and we'll see what they do here. Is that it for Hagelston? He's already faced the entire starting lineup of the Fighting Knights twice, and he's not even through the third inning. And that is the end of the night for David Hagelston. We'll take a quick break, and we'll let you know all about the new pitcher on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back here to Augusta. Ben Parr is the new pitcher for the Jaguars. He inherits the runners on first and second with 2 outs as David Hagelston gives up 5 runs off of 8 hits. 4 of them earned, however, 1 unearned run back in the first.
We talked about the Sidewinders experience Division I baseball with the Yellow Jackets. As a Jaguar here in Division II, in 16 appearances, he has put the kibosh on 16 of the batters he has faced with strikeouts. And he's also, throughout the year, has compiled 2 saves when he has a chance to close out games.
No balls, 2 strikes on Archer as he fouls 1 away. Archer is the 9th batter to come to the plate this inning for the Fighting Knights. This is also his 3rd plate appearance in the game, and we're still in the 3rd inning. He has had an at-bat in the first, an at-bat in the second, and now an at-bat here in the 3rd. He's behind 0-2. He is 0 for 2 in this game, however. The 0-2, high chopper, first base. Throw to Parr, who goes over and covers, and he catches it, steps on the bag. That ends the inning, but not before the Fighting Knights blow it open, score 4, thanks to back-to-back home runs. And we go to the bottom of the 3rd. The Knights take a 5-0 lead over the Jaguars. We'll be back. Welcome back. We're in the bottom of the third and the top third of the Jaguars lineup. Starting it off, called strike one on the leadoff hitter, Devin Billardello, 0 for 1 in this game already. Followed by Jim Wagner and Zach Goebel. Jaguars have had 3 base hits in this game, but have not scored a run yet. That's a ball 1 in the dirt, a ball and a strike. On Billardello. And the 1-1, that's a called strike, 1 and 2. Billardello, I believe, is a junior. So, sure, the Jaguars will be excited to have him back next season.
Absolutely, with great speed and great discipline at the plate. He is a very good table setter for the Jags.
High hopper right back to the mound, throw the first in time for out number 1. And that'll bring up Jim Wagner playing in his final game in a Jaguar uniform. The senior has singled and stolen a base already in this game too. Will be followed by the designated hitter, Zach Goebel. Here's the pitch to Wagner. Checked his swing, but it's a called strike anyway. 0-1 as the ball hit the inside corner. Not a cloud in the sky all weekend, yesterday or today. The 0-1, that's a called strike. 0-2. After Goebel, if we get there this inning, it'll be Ty Hobbs, who homered big home run in Friday's game. The 0-2, swing and a miss. And Wagner down on strikes. Once again, that's the second time we've seen it this weekend. The catcher drops his third strike, but he does not realize it and attempt to run the first. That's out number 2. And here's Zach Goebel.
Yeah, just a hard sinker there by Perez. And seeing the sequence of pitches, if you're thinking along with him, a step ahead of that, you would think it would have been down, not down lower than Billardello thought. He thought it was going to be low, had his bat trajectory swinging low, but just swung over the top as that ball met the dirt at the right time for the strikeout.
The 0-1, and that misses. Ball and a strike on Zach Goebel. Goebel worked the count full his first time up and hit a double. And Wagner on the double advanced from second and third. He had already stolen second. He advanced from second to third. Did not score because he had to tag up on a high fly ball with less than 2 outs. And he ended up being stranded on third. 2 balls and a strike on Goebel. After today's game, we'll look forward to AU volleyball season beginning this fall. It's been a fun season bringing all the sports to you. Volleyball, men's and women's basketball, and baseball this year as well.
We'll have just about 3 months off until we get right back in the swing of things with volleyball in middle of September, I believe.
That is correct. The volleyball team should have some promise this year. I believe they reached the semifinals of the Peach Belt Conference volleyball tournament this last fall. And they should return everybody. They didn't have a single senior on the roster a season ago. And you know how good you can get when you return a lot of people.
Absolutely. And then being as young as they were too, they'll have a lot more chemistry behind them, a lot more teamwork, and be able to put together better sets and be able to finish out and finish strong.
Absolutely. We've reached the end of the third inning. The Jaguars still trail at 3-0 as Goebel swung and missed for strike 3. We go to the fourth. At the Lake, we'll be back. Gabriel Martinez swings and fouls away the first pitch as we set to start the top of the fourth inning here at the Lake. It's 5-0 in favor of the Fighting Knights. Martinez will be followed by Patrick Dorian and then Shane Fontana. Those guys homered back-to-back in Game 1. And we've already seen back-to-back homers in this game as well by the Fighting Knights. The 0-1 misses 1 ball and 1 strike.
So we were talking about it a little bit while we were off air about some of the prominent movies that are coming up.
The new Avengers, and please, no
month.
spoilers for me. I have not seen it.
Please, anybody out there listening, do not spoil it for us. I'm trying to be able to have time to go see it on Monday. I've read the comics, follow it.
Don't even spoil the comics for me.
A nerd when it comes to that kind of stuff, so I'm not even on YouTube this weekend because of that. I mean, I'm here working and doing this, but outside leisurely, I'm not doing any type of YouTube videos on this kind of stuff.
It's really tempting to go on there too. And when the last Star Wars movie came out, I didn't get to see it till second weekend, and it is the same idea for me.
Oh, because there's like a bazillion spoiler
absolutely
videos
and
out
there's
there
spoilers
talking about
and
different
predictions
things
that are normally accurate 6 months before the release date.
Absolutely, and
stay away from.
You've got Avengers coming out this week, Deadpool, I think May 18th. And then the new Han Solo movie.
Oh boy!
At the tail end.
It's gonna be a great month. Great summer.
Of May. So you've got some prominent billboard and hopefully box office films that are absolutely looking to be impeccable. And honestly, for a nerd like me, that's outside of baseball and wrestling. That's kind of like seeing all this come in. That's a little piece of heaven on earth at this point.
It's kind of the same here. Although I don't necessarily follow wrestling as much as you do, though. A ball and 2 strikes on Dorian. But yeah, we've been doing this all weekend, so still waiting to see the new Avengers.
Absolutely, and being spoiler free for some of the people that I've heard that have seen it, all they've said, because they know that if they tell me anything else, they will not like me for the next 2 weeks. All they've said is be prepared to be shaken up.
Well, we'll see what they mean by that.
Absolutely, and I mean, but in trying to connecting that to this, the Jags are gonna have a fight brewing here, trying to come back into this ball game down here in the final game of the season with only 3 innings left to go.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Dorian, and he fouls another one back. A good long at bat by him. He's spoiled some very tough pitches, and that was a nasty curveball that by par that Dorian golfed foul, and he shows why he just leads the offense and why he traditionally hits third for the Fighting Knights. And they're going to miss Dorian next year. I talked about how the Jaguars will miss Wagner. Dorian's the guy the Fighting Knights will miss. He's a senior. 2-2. Called! Strike 3, outside corner. He thought that was ball 3. Instead, it's strike 3. And out number 2.
That is an illustrious pitch combated with the great 1-2 battery punch that affords the Jags behind the plate and the pitching right there by par. You cannot get any more crisper than that, laying that right on the outside corner for the punch out.
Called strike on Shane Fontana. 0-1. He's 1 for 2, a single and a strikeout in this game. The Fighting Knights, after winning Game 1 of today's doubleheader earlier today, that snapped a 9-game losing streak they had going in. The Jaguars handed them their 9th straight loss last night. And, speaking of how the Jaguars are going to miss Wagner, they're also going to miss Matt Meeks, who pitched his 2nd complete game of the season last night in the Jaguars' 3-2 victory.
That's how
you go out.
Absolutely. A tremendous performance when the Jags needed it the most. And tip your cap to a phenomenal season from Matt Meeks as he continues his great line of work.
In the air to center field. And is the catch made by Bill Ardello? We're waiting. No, it's a home run. It went over the fence. We were awaiting the signal. And a 400-foot home run by Shane Fontana to the deepest part of the ballpark to center field. And all of a sudden, both teams are just hitting the ball hard in this one.
Absolutely. They're lasering in, locking those eyes in on the arm and the pitches that both sides are throwing. And with this lineup the Fighting Knights have, it's hard to get anything past them, especially the last couple of innings. But to finish off what we were talking about earlier with Parr, his Yellow Jacket stats are impeccable. In 3 seasons, a 3.71 ERA, and he accumulated 133 strikeouts at his time in Division I baseball with Georgia Tech.
And Fontana has his second home run, second solo shot in as many games. Second one today as well. He homered in game 1 and now again in game 2. A ball and a strike on Rouse. That's in the air to center field. Bill Ardello goes over and he makes the catch. And that is the third and final out of the inning. But not before Shane Fontana homers to the deepest part of the park and gives the Fighting Knights a 6-0 lead. We go to the bottom of the 4th. We'll be back. Welcome you back to the lake. It's the bottom of the 4th inning. Jaguars trailing at 6-0 to the Knights, who have just flat out enjoyed the long ball here in this one. Here's the pitch to Hobbs. Hobbs enjoyed the long ball yesterday with a home run of his own back in the 3rd inning.
Whether it be from hitting pitchers' pitches that have been inside and down and golfing them out, or whether they've been getting their hands extending through the baseball and having good aluminum power contact throughout the at-bat when they make contact with them. They have been spraying the ball all over the place and jacking balls out of here, and it's attributed to why they're out to a big of a lead as they have been, but I've also been impressed with how they've infused a little bit of small ball action into both of these games here from the Fighting Knights.
They have essentially done so. They've hit the ball just about any spot in the field for a home run.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really remarkable when you see several balls reach the center field wall with it being 400 feet.
Mm-hmm. There's a portion of the center field wall, like we talked about earlier, that kind of has like the Diamondback setup with the high arcing yellow line at the top, and then it kind of comes down at least 6 feet on the left and right side with only that high arcing wall about roughly 15 15 feet on each side of the 400 mark that's elevated, and they crept one right through where that hole is between the Logan's Roadhouse sign and where the wall is in right center.
It's hard to do.
Absolutely.
Hobbs with the count full. He's going to be followed by Bakari Gale. Then Brent Alford. Jaguars have a busy bullpen. 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Hobbs beside himself and down on strikes, as he realizes split second too late that he may have chased a fourth ball. And he's down on strikes for the second time in this game. And the first out in the fourth, here's Bakari Gale.
That's an adjustment here over the next 3 innings as we're in the bottom of the fourth now, that you would like to see the Jags kind of dial it back a little bit and realize rotation and not necessarily fall for that splitter and the sinker that Perez has, especially coming up here on the final 6 outs.
No balls and a strike on Gale. The 0-1. Fouled away again, 0-2.
You want to try to at least bleed across a run here with 10 outs still to go, because once it gets about the bottom half of the 5th inning, the outs start to creep into your head and play mind games with you, and you try to overcompensate and overproduce. So you want to try to bleed one out here if you can, to kind of creep back up into a situation where you can tie the games with not overcompensating later on.
Chopper foul, third base side, into the Jaguar bullpen. Nice play by the backup catcher, helping warm up the pitchers. I believe that is...
It looks like McElhaney out there.
Caleb McElhaney's the Jaguars' backup catcher, warming up the pitchers, and he made a nice play fielding that foul ball. Never hurts to get a little practice,
Absolutely.
even if you're warming up the pitchers.
And then not only that, but as we've seen the past couple games we've had here, you've got a lethal third catcher on offense too in Jose Nigueras that can, once he gets a chance at the plate, he can do some serious damage as well.
Back-to-back strikeouts to start this inning. 4 straight strikeouts have been recorded by Perez, dating back to there being 1 out in the third, as he has retired 6 in a row since there were 2 out in the second. First pitch to Alford is a ball upstairs, 1-0. Perez has 5 strikeout victims overall in this game through the first 3 2/3. But just how great has it been for the Jaguars after Meeks' complete game yesterday to have a fresh bullpen for this doubleheader? It's in the air to center. Catch is made for the third and final out, and Jaguars are set down in order once again. They still trail at 6-0. We go to the 5th at the Lake. We'll be back. Welcome you back here to the lake. It's the top of the 5th inning. 6-0. Fighting Knights lead the Jaguars here. Willie C, the DH for the Fighting Knights, leading off. And that misses inside, and that hit C in the sleeve. Just grazing his sleeve, and he's on first. Just like that, start the inning. So here's Alejandro Martinez, who homered in this game already. Hit the second of back-to-back home runs. 2 innings ago, C hit the first. Ball and no strikes.
It's a tough pitch to lay off. Good vision at the plate.
A ball and a strike.
And if you're a pitcher, you love seeing the mindset of I don't care what the next pitch is, I'm swinging at it. Because that means anywhere you put it, anywhere close to the strike zone, or whether it be dying out or raising over the strike zone, or anywhere in the vicinity of the strike zone, you're going to get a swing at the ball, whether they make contact or not.
Is that a Vlad Guerrero mindset?
Sort of. Absolutely. Absolutely. With as free swinging as he was a difficult out to get, boy, because even when he golfed it out in the dirt, you could see the power behind it. And even some of the weak swings that he had, he muscled some of those out in no man's land places where he would get base hits off of them.
He wasn't the 07 home run derby champion for nothing, I'll tell you that. That's up the middle. That's a base hit. On his way to second, C. And it's 2 on with nobody out for Gomez. Lynn continuing to roll. Out comes Chris Howell once again. Will there be a pitching change? Jaguars have someone ready in their bullpen if they do elect to go that route. Just having a little talk things over. And they're going to leave Parr in the game. But his time out there may very well be winding down.
Believe it or not, though, Vlad's play coverage didn't roll off on his son at all, though.
Not at all. His son is a prospect, I believe, in the Blue Jays organization.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
And he'll be making his MLB debut fairly soon, I would think. Called strike on Gomez.
He's got a very disciplined aura about him at the plate for his young of an age. Out in that system, he's going to be a joy to watch.
The 0-1 is fouled away. 0-2 on Gomez. Gomez has reached twice in this game, a single, and he reached on an error as well in the second inning. Still nobody out. We're in the top of the 5th. No balls, 2 strikes to Gomez. Here's the pitch. And that hits him. Second hit batsman this inning. And with nobody out, the bases are loaded for Alec Ojeda. And after Ojeda, we'll be back to the top of the order. This is the completion of the 3rd trip through the Fighting Knights lineup, and we're not even an out into the 5th inning. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Lynn with a golden opportunity to blow this game even more wide open than they already have in the last few innings.
And this is off the heels of only a 7-inning game. So it's one more trip around, and they'll have a full game of plate appearances behind them, with this game being designated to play only 7 innings.
Lined Throw to home, in time, throw to third. That's in time, a double play. Maddox had to hesitate at short at first because they weren't sure if he caught it or not, but they ruled that it was a trap, and so he threw straight home.
So that helped out the Jags tremendously because the runner at third for the Fighting Knights had to hold up to see as well to be able to get back to the bag and tag. That's where the force came at home, and then offered, with the great baseball presence he has, to fire back to third to get the two leading runners. Now the threat is severely cut down. You're not out of it yet because you still have a runner 180 feet away, but the pressure, that's almost like a monkey being lifted off your back.
Absolutely. That's a major big monkey lifted off. That's inside, and that hits him, and the bases are loaded again. 3 hit batsmen in 1 inning. That hasn't helped the cause at all. The bases once again are loaded, but with 2 outs, a much different story than with nobody out. And Gabe Martinez, as well as Archer, who just got hit by pitch, both these guys batting this inning for the 4th time in this game. We're still in the 5th. That's how good the offense has been for Lynn.
That's incredible. And we just got through seeing how powerful Georgia College offenses was as well. And these guys, when they get through with regular season play, if they go into postseason play, will be raring back and ready to go.
First, you got the Peach Belt Conference Tournament coming up in a couple weekends from now.
Yep.
Called strike 2, 0-2 on Martinez. Martinez is 0 for 3. He's grounded out 3 times to Mason Robertson at second base. He has not hit the ball anywhere else today. The 0-2 misses 1 and 2 on Martinez.
It's your final home game, and a lot of these guys come in overamped to pitch the best that they can and to pitch better than they have all year. And that may be what's happening to the Jags right now, is just being a little too excited, overthrowing, being a little overamped, and just try to settle down here and connect with this third out to get you out of the situation you're in.
Deuces are wild with 2 on in scoring position, 2 strikes, 2 balls, 2 outs. Grounded to third. Here's Wagner with it. Steps on the bag at third for the easy force play, and the inning is over. The Fighting Knights leave him loaded. Had him loaded with nobody out, and the Jaguars get out of the jam unscathed. And they're going to, this is an emotional inning break here, as they're going to be giving a hug to Ben Parr, who exits likely for the final time in this game, as this being an emotional, typical senior day in college baseball. So likely we'll see a new pitcher in the top of the inning. And we go to the bottom of the 5th at the Lake. We'll be back. Welcome you back to the Lake. It's the bottom of the 5th inning. Jaguars will come to bat. They'll start the inning off with Patrick Watson. It'll be the bottom 3rd of their lineup. Start off, Patrick Watson will be followed by Mason Robertson and then Trent Maddox. Watson is 0 for 1 in this game. And that's a called strike. Nothing in one. And now the 0-1. Misses for a ball 1-1. It's a busy weekend in the world of sports today. It's been a fun weekend here at the lake, bringing you the series between the Jaguars and the Fighting Knights on the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. The 1-1 pitch misses for a ball 2-1. But it's also in all the big four sports around the country. It's a busy weekend. A lot of baseball going on this weekend in the majors, the NFL draft, the NHL playoffs, and the NBA playoffs all in action.
Absolutely. If you are a sports fan, it is one of the best times to be alive right now, with everything central and cooking like that. And the thing is, whether you like one sport or not, you've got a selection to choose from, and even with the draft going on, which probably go on through tomorrow, and then the playoffs going on with the NBA and NHL. It's a phenomenal time to be a fan.
Absolutely. I remember during the World Series last year, there was a period during the series where there was an MLB game, an NHL game, and the NBA game, and an NFL game. It was on, I think, Game 5, which was on a Sunday, so of course the NFL has its day of the week, and the NBA and NHL seasons had just started. I don't think that's ever happened before, where they're all four going on at once.
It's a rarity.
Ball 1 to Robertson, 1-0.
It is a rarity, and with it on all cylinders, you've got passion coming out of it, especially with the NFL draft, with some of the moves that some of the teams made. You have Eagles fans around in the area. You've got Falcons fans in the area. You've got a lot of other things going on that bring people together, and it's almost like how, especially for guys, sports brings us together like shopping does for girls or ladies, in a sense. And when you have the unity behind, it doesn't matter what sport you're a fan of, when you have the unity behind that, you feel at home, and you kind of feel connected with that person watching it with you and watching the games with you. And that's what sports is all about. And especially bringing from what the world is going to right now, an escape point from all the turbulence going around. It's a phenomenal time to watch sports.
And none of the world stuff matters, regardless of who you cheer for.
Absolutely.
In sports, although sometimes differences between people and who you cheer for can divide in its own way.
Yeah, sometimes folks take sports a little bit too far, maybe, and so you can have a little bit of overpassion exuded there. But for the most part, with the unity it brings, it's a fabulous time to just watch and be a part of what we love.
Absolutely. Well said, Blake. Here's number 9 hitter Trent Maddox, as Robertson and Watson have been set down on strikes for the first 2 outs of this inning, as Jaguars hitters have been retired now 9 straight since there were 2 outs in the second inning after Robertson singled with that point.
Yeah.
Maddox looks at a ball 1-0. Celtics and Cavs have big game 7s this weekend. The 1-0. 2-0 on Maddox.
You've got an expansion team in hockey, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, tearing it up in the NHL playoffs.
Do I have this right? They're one of the favorites to win it all in their first year? Who would have thought?
The way they have been playing, they have been on fire all season long.
That's lined in the left field, and that's a base hit, and that ends the streak of 9 straight Jaguar hitters retired. Maddox on first with a big 2-out single. And we're back to the top of the order for the Jaguars in Devin Billardello. Villardello is 0 for 2 in this game, a ground out and a fly out. Both leading off an inning. He led off the first and third. Looking for his first hit of this game, and he looks at a called strike. 0-1. And let's pitch to Villardello. Bouncer foul. 0-2.
Perez continues to wheel and deal on the mound, and the Jags are trying to fight back, but he's mixing up his pitches very well and throwing the Jags hitters off balance, whether it be if they're expecting a fastball, he's throwing a changeup or a sinker. They're thinking something off speed, he blazes the fastball by him. He's doing everything in his power right now to shut down this Jags offense and send them on a doubleheader burnout, and the Jags are trying to keep from it.
Ball and 2 strikes on Villardello.
You do have the top of the order up with Villardello, and if he gets on Widener, and this is the two guys you want to try to produce here in the speed, but the third out is made over at third, and it's not how you want to enter into the top half of the sixth down to your last 6 outs.
Certainly isn't, but that's where we're going. Jaguars trail at 6-0. And the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. Jay Penley coming on to pitch the 6th for the Jaguars. We'll be back. Welcome you back here to the lake. We're starting the top of the 6th inning. Take you the rest of the way. The play-by-play. Blake Collins, take it away.
Thank you, Robert. You see right there, a ball meets the dirt off a first pitch ball. Cannot find the strike zone there. As that ball's roped into foul territory, so a rifling strike here to Pat Bourne, the shortstop. Then you've got Fontana on deck, and that ball is towered out to right field. The wind's helping that ball scoot out into right center field, and Boren was on his high horse all the way around second, and he finds himself with a stand-up triple here in the Friday night part of the 6th inning.
And that was as hard a hit as a ball as some of those other home runs, but somehow the wind has recently died here at the lake, and that ball ends up, because of that, staying in the park for a triple.
It's like some of the weather and some of the climate in this area. Sometimes it doesn't know what it wants to do, and with the wind not boosting that at all, he had good power, just not able to elevate it over the yellow line out there. But with good solid contact from Fontana, Bourne will migrate across. And after the catch from Billardello, the 7th run is intact for Lynn. Sacrifice fly in the books, be an F8, and now you've got Rouse standing in. Wind up in the pitch. Stationed on the outside corner. Ushers in the first strike of the Rouse at bat. And Rouse checked his swing there. Did not get any kind of help from the field umpire there, as it is 2 balls. And anchor that in with that loud strike to 2 strikes. Rouse rolls over the top of it, and Hobbs did all he could to try to secure the ball into the glove, but it scoots on by him, and Rouse is at first base. So now the occupant in the batter's box is William C., the designated hitter. As he looks in for the 0-1 pitch. Just a touch outside. That fastball fires in on the inside corner. Ball swung and elevated to right field in front of the right fielder Watson.
Jay Penley is the new pitcher this inning. For the Jaguars, he's one of the young arms that can do it all. Pitch, play defense, and hit. And certainly in the next couple years, we'll be seeing quite a lot of him.
Absolutely. He's played left field, and he's also hit beautifully as well. I mean, an all-around very versatile player for the Jags, and look for his work to continue throughout his stay at Augusta University as well. The ball's towered out to right field this time. It's in the air long enough for Patrick Watson to put the squeeze on the second out. Gabe Gomez walks into the dish, ready to go toe-to-toe with Jay Penley. Like a slider right there into the heart of the plate. And Gomez was not expecting that. He adjusts well on that pitch as that ball's served into center field. One run is coming across. They try to cut the runner off at third base. Unsuccessful are the Jags. But the 8th run plates here for Lynn. It's an inside pitch that Gomez executed really well, bringing his hands inside the baseball and then spraying it into center. And that ball's laced foul off to the left. Good sweeping curveball there from Penley. Gets the second strike. Now he looks in for the sign, wheels and deals. Didn't bite hard enough for Penley there as it falls out of the strike zone. Reaches back for a little bit extra on that fastball and cannot designate a strike. And elevates the count off of that fastball, riding too far inside to a juice 3-ball and 2-strike count.
Runner Gomez on first will take off.
You don't want to load the bases loaded here with 2 outs. Come in with fastballs.
And you know it's coming if you're Ojeda, and he takes advantage.
You knew it was a fastball. You just didn't know at what part of the plate they were going to throw. So cautionary, bring your hands in to cover the inside part. Does the job very well for the Fighting Knights to execute their 9th run coming across.
3 runs already home this inning. They also had 4 in the 3rd. one in the fourth and one in the first.
And now, Tom Archer, the table setter,
about to bat for the 5th time in this game in just the 6th inning.
That is a full 9-inning days worth of at-bats for the Fighting Knights, squeezed in 7 innings.
Sometimes more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Even when it's a 7-inning game, you sometimes get a 9 innings worth out of guys, even if it's only 7 innings.
Not far enough for the run to come across, as they've got the runner at third and a rundown. Penley to Maddox, and the runner at second, trailing the runner caught in the rundown, runs to third base and then tries to atone for his mistake and run back to second, but the tag was applied. So a base running miscue sends the 6th inning to the bottom half. We will be right back around the corner with the Jags and their bats looking to come to life. As the first Perez offering here in the bottom of the 6th, backs Widener up off the plate. He was trying to pitch inside and might have nicked the umpire.
It's never fun to see. Trainers having to take a look at it.
Unfortunately, the way umpires stand and where they're located, they're kind of just as vulnerable as catchers are on foul tips and wild pitches because they're not crouched down.
They are, and that's why they wear padding and a mask, just like a catcher does. They wear just as much protection as a catcher.
Exactly.
For good reason.
The only thing that's a little bit different is they don't have, that you can see, is leg protection or lower half of their body protection. And I think that may be where it got the home plate umpire.
Not the kind of delay to the at-bat you'd want for Jim Wagner, which possibly could be his last at-bat in his career.
It's a player you never want to think about that.
Absolutely not. I'm sure he's not.
But you also want this, if this is going to be your last at-bat, as a productive at-bat as you possibly can make it, whether it be a base hit, a solid aluminum bat, offering on the ball and a double, maybe even a home run. You don't want to try to overswing because you're down, but you want it to be as productive as possible. And Wagner had it in his mind to jump on the next pitch, and he swings right through it and misses it. Check swing, and Wags could not hold the bat back. It's an emotionally charged day all the way around for the Jaguars, with 10 seniors, with it being their final game today. And also, as I mentioned, you can't ask for a better day and for a better emotional day for Ty Hobbs than his mother being here, who doesn't get a chance to be at a lot of these games due to what we talked about in the festivity portion. So this is definitely going to be a day he'll remember for a very long time, if not the rest of his life.
Absolutely, and they set up a special tent for her to be able to watch the game from.
Absolutely. It's Goebel stands in right now with 2 balls on his at bat.
2 balls and 1 strike, and 1 out this inning.
Perez wheels and deals. He's had good movement on a lot of his sinking and pitches that split down in the strike zone, and he's been getting a lot of jags today out in front, as he did right there with Goebel. And Perez pegs the corner on that pitch, and now hands the bat off to Ty Hobbs to try to muster up some base runners and get some runs across for the Jags. That pitch settles in over the outside corner. Second offering by Perez. Same location. Second strike on target. And that ball is crushed into deep. And that ball is launched over 400 feet, and that is another inductee into the Launchpad City Hall of Fame. Ty Hobbs, come on into Launchpad City and make yourself at home, sir. What a day, an emotionally charged day, caps it off with a solo shot in the bottom half of the 6th inning.
And with him being a senior, if that's his final at-bat of his career, what a way to go. His second at-bat, his second home run in as many days.
when you're left speechless because of some of the events that are taking place here, this definitely is a day that he will remember for the rest of his life.
Oh, absolutely.
That was absolutely crushed. So Gale comes back into the box after a blistering home run for Ty Hobbs. And he finds himself aboard after a misplay out in shortstop by the Fighting Knights shortstop. And now, with 2 outs, the Jags have a little bit of life in their bats here in the 6th inning. Let's see if they can parlay that to not only this inning, but their last at bat in the 7th. But as we've seen, Robert, the almost every game that we've covered, with this never say die attitude that the Jags have, they are in any game that they're behind in.
Oh, they absolutely, and they definitely are still in this one. As I think Gale's single was the home run, may have woken the Jaguars up a little bit, and now the Fighting Knights having an infield visit on the mound with the entire infield in. Talk things over and figure out how they can respond and see if the Jaguars can put together a 2-out rally and gradually chip away at this thing.
Jags are down by 8 with 4 outs to go. Baseball is a sport where you never can predict what happens in the game, and
Nope.
this right here would be a phenomenal comeback from the Jags' perspective. That ball is conked into center field. A misplay by the center fielder, Fontana, diving for the ball. I think he might have lost it in the sun as well. The last split second diving for it, and it fell over to his opposite glove side of where he had the glove, and the Jags have a threat brewing with Gale at third. And Patrick Watson up at the dish.
3 straight hits for the Jaguars, all with 2 outs. I see no game clock anywhere, Blake.
Absolutely not. This game could go an hour more, it could go 10 minutes more, it could go all night. You never know with the game of baseball. And if the Jags have anything to say about it, they will want it to go all night to come back and solidify a victory here in their final game of the season.
Alford takes second on a fielder's indifference that time.
Solid single would definitely mean 1, maybe 2 here from the bat of Patrick Watson if he can see it through. Bouncer to first. And that puts the finishing touches on the 6th inning. The Jags plate 1 as we roll into the 7th inning. Jags look to contain this offense and hold them right where they are at bay. We'll be back. we settle back in here for the last inning of the regular season for the Jags. The Fighting Knights have a 3-game set. I believe it's next weekend versus believe it may be West Palm Beach.
That'll be the ends of Lynn's regular season, and it's a 3-game series with Palm Beach Atlantic, and then they'll have their NCAA tournament 2 weekends after that.
As that ball is shot into center field. Beg your pardon, Palm Beach Atlantic. That's going to be a good showdown between those two clubs.
Absolutely. Both teams will want to finish strong going into the playoffs.
And a base hit starts off the Fighting Knights off right. You want to talk about an electric splitter. That ball started at the knees and dropped down to the cleats. Another splitter right there. Cannot connect to the strike zone. That ball's towered into left field. Gale under it and brings down the hammer for the first out. Shortstop Pat Doran stands in to take the first ball of the at-bat. Rifled to Robertson. Shifts his weight. 4-6, but they could not execute the 3 on the back end.
Dorian with just enough speed to beat that throw out.
2 men gone in the top half of the 7th. Strike. Right on the outside corner. Get another strike. Settling in over the outside corner. We got 1 ball and 2 strikes. as the crackdown from, I believe it was Zach Goebel, on the mound shuts down the Fighting Knights here in the top half of the 7th inning.
And he's going to leave to get embraced by all his teammates as well.
Great work all the way around from all the seniors here today. Now it's the Jags offense to spur on some offense and see if they can come back and deadlock the score at 9-all. And the Jags are asking their second baseman, Mason Robertson, to get a rally started here in the bottom half of the 7th. And it's looking like the Knights are going to stick with Perez on the mound. See if he can pitch a complete game.
And why not? Saw Matt Meeks throw a complete game for the Jaguars yesterday.
Just a pair outside. Discipline ABs for the Jags. Get it started on the right foot. And Robertson is ahead of the count. 2 balls and no strikes. And that ball's crunched out into right field. A lot of hang time with that, though, as the right fielder Martinez warrants the first out here in the 7th inning for the Jags.
Perez stepping off to tie his shoe.
That fastball pegs the outside corner, and Maddox took a step out trying to regroup. Maddox with the discipline did not offer it. That splitter down in the dirt. And that ball is lined foul off to the left. So Maddox is down in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now this is the count that he's usually very disciplined and lethal when he's behind in the count and at a crucial spot in the ball game. But he doesn't come through right there as he swings at another splitter, and the out is retired at first base. And the Jags are down to their last out on the year in the form of catcher Jose Nigueras.
And he's batting for Bill Ardello in the leadoff spot.
Fastball released it too far out in front of his body, did Perez, and sent it into the left-hander's batter's box. And that ball's laced into left field, and Nagaris continues his lethal pinch hitting duties. And when he gets into the ballgame, he tattoos the ball as that is a double. And the Jags have a 2-out rally going with a man at second base.
And the season continues. Jaguars had 3 straight 2-out hits last inning and got one here in the 7th.
One batter at a time.
That's exactly right. They got to bat around, though, to have a chance, basically.
Absolutely.
But it can be done.
It's an old adage that the 27th out is the hardest out to get, and the Jags are out to prove why that is the case.
In this case, they're trying to avoid the 21st out.
Absolutely.
Which, in a 7-inning game, is the hardest.
Yep. Perez fires inside corner established. So now the Jags, with Jim Wagner up at the dish, down to their last strike. The 0-2 pitch. Lined into center field. Nagaris around third, heading home. The throw will come into second. And the Jags. It's a lot of life left in the bats, as they're not done yet.
Back-to-back hits here. The Jaguars, the last 2 innings, including this one with 2 outs, they're 5 for 6 as a team with 2 outs. Let's also not forget Maddox had a 2-out single in the 5th inning.
And now you've got one of the most powerful hitters in the Jags lineup, in Zach Goebel, at the dish as well. He was Peach Belt Conference Player of the Week and Regional Peach Belt Conference Player of the Week about a month or 2 ago. Looking to continue the rally here. Goebel swings right through that changeup as Wagner swipes second base on a pitching indifference. And that will conclude the season for the Jags. A Goebel strikeout, and the Fighting Knights come into Lake Olmsted, Robert, and take 2 out of 3.
They did. Today was a rough day for the Jaguars, dropping both games in the doubleheader, but let's not forget how great yesterday's game was and how great the comeback win was last Saturday against Georgia College as well. Still a lot of highs from this season, obviously a lot of struggles, but a lot of highs to remember, and look forward to, Blake, I greatly look forward to 2019 as well.
Absolutely. It's been a spectacular year. I'm thankful to have been able to call the season with you. And
it's been a blast.
look forward to a better and a stronger season next year with a lot of the youngsters having a year to season up, having a year to get stronger,
Absolutely.
have more baseball acumen to them, and for the seniors, thank you so much for what you have done for this university, whether it be Ty Hobbs or Ben Parr, Jordan Kelly. To round it out, Jim Wagner has had a tremendous 4 years here at Augusta University. We talked about Matt Meeks on Friday. He came in and conquered the only game that the Jags won out of the series. Casey Leenock, Brent Alford, phenomenal 4 years behind the dish. You want to talk about all of these guys. Goberdon transferring from Armstrong. Hagelston, Hobbs, as we mentioned, all of these guys. Thank you so much for what you guys have done for this university, what you've meant, and thank all of you as well watching all over the world, wherever you may be, for not only enjoying Jags baseball, but putting up with us for the home games for the Jags.